Brief with me, Aisha Ibrahim. Over the next half hour, we'll bring you stories from across the political divide. Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Election Headquarters for an informed electorate. Please do stay. Tell Cordia. There's an urgent call for the youth not to allow themselves to be used to cause trouble during the elections. Speaking during a health and peace walk organized by a Wa-based youth group, Jonjo Palace, Executive Secretary to the National Peace Council in the Upper West Region, Emmanuel Dayoma, called on the youth to choose the path of peace. Joining his Upper West Regional correspondent, Rafiq Salam, reports.
Over 10,000 youth, drawn from over 100 youth groups and camps in the Wa municipality and beyond, took part in the health and peaceful walk codenamed Walk with Jonjo. This came on the heels of last year's successful event, which saw 70 youth groups participating in. The youth groups, majority of whom are from political parties, religious groups, professional organizations, and football supporters, took part in the event organized by the Wajangberi-based youth club, Jonjo Palace. The attendance was massive as most of the youth spilled all principal streets in the Wa township. The walk, jog, dance and music played on sound systems, kept on tracks, and also from local drums. Convener of Walk with Jonjo, Baba Sadat, explained why they have embarked on the walk.
You know, as election is getting near, this is 2024, the incumbent MPP said they want to retain power and break the 8. The opposition NDC also said they want to wrestle power from the hands of MPP. And we are also in a war zone environment, surrounded by Burkina Faso, Togo, and Niger, and other Francophone countries. And definitely, if peace is not paramount, something must happen. And as we are getting into the election year, we need to position the youth as an agent of peace before, during, and after the elections. And that's the reason why we've brought all these youth groups together to drum home the word of peace, so they will know that before election, after election, whatever that happens, happens. And there's no need to, for chaos. People have to go about their normal duties and live in harmony.
Other organizers of Walk with Jonjo also threw further light on the event.
We are all aware that if a country can grow, it is the youth that have to drive the what? The peace of the car. That is the more reason why we have invited our security service, so that there will be a sense of what? Harmony during and after elections.
So what I can see this morning, I'm of the view that if we're able to succeed in this, and the people go home with whatever message we share here, it can translate and give us a peaceful election come 2024.
Wa-based supporters of English Premiership club West Ham United also had a bite of the pie.
We are representative of Ghanaian Hammers Supporters Union. So, as everybody is saying, we are here to also preach peace to the people during the incoming election and after the election. So that's why we see us in our West Ham colours, also to support the movement. Thank you.
Executive Secretary to the National Peace Council in the Upper West Region, Emmanuel Dayoma, whilst commending the organizers of the walk, urged the youth not to allow themselves to be used to foment trouble before, during, and after the 2024 general elections.
Youth should be together. They shouldn't allow anybody to recruit them and use them for their purpose, their negative purposes. So I continue to thank you. I continue to encourage the youth to be together and do things, and I hope this one will come again. They should try to organize another one like this before the election.
As part of the event, free blood donation exercise was also conducted to support the blood banks of the Wa Municipal and the Upper West Regional hospitals. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wa.
Now let's turn to voters' voice. Today we turn our attention to the Malamata market on what will influence their vote.
Me MPP ni mapa pure full enya half me MPP ni it me vote to MPP. They me vote to MPP say sabio ombatna so mu ye bibi o manye bibi me vote to MPP. If it's a numu ni aye den ya wo me toye me mogya no afra etu dan me kɔ party bia enye yi ti me MPP die osunu kokuroko aboa kase na ogina wano wo so ono an me vote di ama me vote ama nana bawomia me wie nso me vote ama Henry Kote Henry na medical kanede Henry nye wano aka hasabe ya tumi afiri malata ha obeya MP no ya ndis wo so metu yan eso nhyira kenya kopɔ so obae no obagye yen e ma yetena aha bawomia so de me vote ama ne se bawomia oya MPP ni bawomia obae no enkonomi ni enkoye akura ebe yeyie ebi so ote wo no ebia nya nsam nyina na oka kira na otie ebia nya nsam nyina na oka kira na otie na sanka nsam nyina oka kira na otie a ka ebia kanima mu so ayede agode amayen
bia ne government e mo le ona se bia ka Fred Geshi e no e bomode ya wo fio fio ko pe eno ne bomode ya wo ono no wa ka ke won daleshi ofa ne happy ne 2024 o shike ne wa afi bia ne ni bi wa ha wo bia ne ahe ni hu ni homo e bashi shika be mami mo eton ne ba he ni shika ne ka wa ye be ko won ton wo ke ga ba da ka shi na be na meni shika ba mami ni se kemo hu keno ko bedie ka eton ne ko le ba he ba nye he be na ni e ba shika ehie shika ne ka ba he ni ba yi be no fe no jele wa be na wo lo yin ko ba nte ahe wata she na ka ahe ni ha wo ahe ni
se beto abade a omomboa ye kokromoti ne ye ne de ma omo nya so ba na omo ba ye de omo pe ye to abana ye to no for improvement nya se omo be kaya hia na omo ba ye de omo pe e 2024 de e nweta so se MPP o se NDC o se gumo se akuadonko se chedao se hwan na be ba ye sre no oman aninko agriculture system so poor road in the enye na say ye mehwere madam for back bi okwa awo so se hwikwan so ekwan no ye se usimu a se hospital no obe se aha wo de e was all the 5 minutes ni dru a wo de 1 hour ni bedu asem to no enti mesire mo hwe kwan no maye mo ye kwan no maye be to aba ma mo we no to me
hwese dia ma sitire mu tie na me de ba be vote enko yi a me vote atia ho enko yi nso me vote twina me kana what ma say that is it obi ntimi me tutu ngu ma so mu say me mfa nkonkon ma we na vote na ye kwa vote no enya ntokwa bia ne opa na ade kwa ma no ana me boa me ye de gombani be bia me pa na me kwa vote ba o mi ana me pa na me vote say your friend say John Mama me vote.
And as the countdown is on for flag bearers for the two major political parties, the NDC and MPP, to name their running mates, there is a strong name coming up. Professor Jane Nano Pokuagyemang seems to be gaining traction in the NDC. We've heard names like Nimoy Thompson, we've heard Zanetto Rawlings, we've heard Kojo Bonso and all of that, but her name seemed to be topping the list. Of course, on the other side, we've heard about Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, who is the energy minister. We've heard about Zeche Mensah Bonso, who is former minority leader. We've heard about Jose Wusu, who is deputy speaker of parliament, and a host of names. Which of the names is gaining traction? I've been joined by deputy head of Joy News' political desk, Winston Amua. Winston, let's start with Jane Nano Pokuagyemang. What does she bring on board?
Well, Aisha Jane Nano Pokuagyemang, of course, she was the NDC's running mate, or John Mohammed's running mate in the 2020 elections, and from all that we gathered, looks like the party was pleased with their performance. Now, the difficulty with talking about what she brings on board, yes, she's a professor, she's a technocrat, she's a minister of education. She's been the first female vice chancellor of a university in Ghana. She was vice chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. But electorally, I mean, if you look at her electoral performance, there's a bit of a difficulty here. Now, because she comes from the central region, and the NDC did not win the central region. However, she's a female, and unfortunately for us in this part of our world, we don't have data to, for instance, find out whether or not she was able to increase female votes or not. So that's the difficulty when it comes to that. But the NDC has its own, measurements. I mean, when it comes to deciding the impact of a running mate, the NPP actually, Nana Akufo-Addo won about 19 constituencies. There's 19 in the central region, but of course, his members of parliament or the NDP parliamentary candidates, only 10 of them won, with the NDC winning 13. I don't know if this could be attributed to Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, but I'm sure as the days go by, we'll be able to find out. So the NDC believes, John Mahama believes she's the best person to help him, capture power in 2024. Looks like a lot of them believe she's the right person. The belief also is that, being one who's been at the forefront of women development and activism, is likely to get a lot of, BG votes. This will not be the first time she'll be introduced to politics. Of course, she's been Minister of Education before, but one of the things that people do not know, for instance, is that in 1996, around the time, she used to host a political program on Radio Go that interviewed aspirants to election. So she's one person you can actually say may, and I choose this carefully because may help the NDC's cause, particularly within the female front. I have personally said that, look, the NDP lost the central region in 2020. Of course, they lost it in 2016 also. So you ask yourself the simple question, what does Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman bring on board? There are many who have said that, well, John Mahama himself is a candidate that can win an election. And so in Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, you're looking at a party that also wants to send a particular signal. And if that's the case, if you want to have a female as a vice president of the Republic of Ghana, then she stands tall and may probably be the right person you want to choose.
So, of course, in the last elections, Jane Nana did not perform. I mean, political watchers think that she performed abysmally. How can she better her chances in supporting the flag bearer to make this happen for the NDC in case or in the event that she's chosen by the flag bearer?
You're right, many people feel that she didn't really do well. But this is the point. I'm sure if you went into 2008 and spoke to a lot of persons within the NPP, they said Bawumia added nothing to the party's ticket. But in 2012, they probably would have thought he had improved, and by then they could see the impact of it, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So she was there in 2020. She may have learned a thing or two. She's been more at the forefront now than she was in 2020. The feeling is that this time around, she probably may have learned a lot of thing or two more about politics and could deliver. She's very intelligent, no doubt. She's not a politician. She's not your regular politician. But I'm sure from 2020 up until now, she may have learned a thing or two. Will that inure to her benefit and to the benefit of the NDC? Well, like our people say, only time will tell.
Conversation and take you on the regional balance, but I want us to switch to the NPP. Names like Matthew Opoku-Prempeh coming up, names like Oseche Mensah Bonsu, Joe Wise, and the likes that you've heard. Which of the names is gaining more traction per your sources?
Well, the challenge with the NPP bit is that, unlike the NDC where you can probably say, oh, it looks like this person, it looks like that person. Many persons are key when it comes to the NPP's running. A lot of people within the party prefer Matthew Opoku-Prempeh and Napo and Bawumia, ticket. The question has been asked whether the two can work together. If you have a conversation with Dr. Bawumia, he will tell you he would want to choose somebody that he's comfortable with and somebody that he can work with. There's been discussions about whether or not the person must necessarily come from the Ashanti region. you're looking at the NPP and some members saying, why do you want to limit yourself to the Ashanti region? And that's where the problem begins really for the NPP. Why do you want to limit yourself to the Ashanti region? And so if it's the Ashanti region, look at a lot of people supporting Napo. They want to see him. George also has a lot of support also, so is Osechim and Sabonsi. But if it comes to support that, people enjoy within the party, in the Ashanti region, and even within the National Executive Committee and the National Council, then Napo will stand tall. But the other question is, will he stand tall when it comes to the flag bearer who's supposed to choose the running mate? That's what we are not sure of, and that's what we do not know. Because other names have also been thrown in, apart from these three. You had Apostle Pokunyina being thrown in. Recently you had names like Nana Kumia and others. And increasingly, the NPP is beginning to ask the question, must the running mate necessarily be from the Ashanti region? And I think they're beginning to realize that that should not just be the case. They shouldn't limit themselves to just one region. After all, the party in choosing a running mate in the past had not limited itself just to a particular group. Well, you can argue that, Raja Ali Mahama was from the northern region and Dr. Bamia was from the old northern region. But of course, they did not go in saying that you wanted to go for somebody in a particular region. So that's a bit of a challenge. There's a bit of a difficulty with the NPP. But I'm sure that, they told you, they said to people that, well, the party mustn't necessarily be in a hurry to choose a running mate. But I'm sure that increasingly, once the NDC is done with this selection of a running mate, all things being equal next week, the question now is to get onto the NPP.
You know how this regional balance thing plays. I mean, that card in especially the two major political parties. What would be the best decision for these two major political parties in terms of regional balance? I mean, and in terms of who they choose to run along with their flag bearers.
We've looked at elections. We've looked at results. We've looked at factors that influence elections. And the suggestion from the surveys indicate that, where somebody comes from does not really, influence. There's a 14th factor, and in some instances, we talked about the fact that how people feel the state of the economy is the most important thing. This is the thing. Regional balance may be key because you get a lot of thumb votes, not much thumb votes. We have seen Dr. Bamia being able to, push or split some of the regions, particularly in the northeast region, for instance. But that's also because Dr. Bamia stayed there, and Dr. Bamia perfected the art of politics. If you perfect the art of politics, and if you come from an area where you are accepted as being one of them, where you've been able to help a lot of people, where a lot of people see you, see themselves in you, then you can say that this person will bring a lot of votes. But until that is achieved, guys, I'm sorry. You could do a regional balance, and we saw it happening in the central region. The NDC lost. And in the Upper East region, the NPP won. But of course, the NPP lost in 2008, lost in 2012, then won it when it comes to the Northeast region, I beg your pardon, then won it in 2016 and 2020. So let's see how it goes. But if you ask me, I'll tell you that the research, regional balance doesn't play a lot of a role. What really plays much role is the competence of the person.
Right. So Winston Amoah is deputy head of Joy News' political desk. We've been trying to understand what will actually be the best decision for any of the two major political parties, the NDC and the NPP. Of course, you've heard all the names that's popping up. The NPP seem to be focusing more on the Ashanti region. The NDC, however, looks like they're scattered across. You have names from Central, from Ashanti region, from other regions. So definitely the regional balance will make a difference because it plays a lot in the decisions of the political parties. Yes, we're watching and we'll look at how the political parties will navigate this. Winston Amoah, thank you for your time. Let's now listen to voters from the Malata market on what will influence their vote.
Abatu nyamese nkan ko ye brankasa boys aye ba yenya eduma ye nwuhwe na nado ba ya bre nti na nado pa de afiwe pa de se ye beto amane de bosu ye nkan dada ye to ama mahama ono ana ye ko afiwe na ejina so ya to amane nti na nado ye ble ɔman no mu ayɛ basa beebi a ɛte kɔ pipe mbae 1 week na enwale nti ɛhɔ kɛkɛ nti bɔso ti afi mu system maye.
My decision to vote is about their programs and their policies. And if you are in a country and some activities are going, by all means you have to take part so that you be a decision maker.
Now to me, Ghana ha me when say about no. Emfaso wo so mame. Me dey about emfaso ni so mame. On my penny for no nyina ye pe. On nyina ye pe. So ahu.
If you don't vote, somebody will vote for you and take decision, and by all means it will bind you. So as a Ghanaian and a citizen, I'm waiting to listen their programs and their activities, those who bring it, and I will stand there, I'll stand it and vote. So by all means, the voting, I will vote.
What to my ear? What to my be a being?
Me offer say no wakasa. Say ohun hwe. So ka say ohun hwe a. Me ntia say wo man and no man ekoso. By all means, I say we take part of decision making. So see hwe wa omu nyina ye pe dia.
Papa, youth ni ye bre.
So you to know.
You to know. Youth ni ye bre.
You to know ah wo ka say ye bre.
Wo be ko school awie. Wo be ko school awie. No posting. Wo just say wo ko school awie ye posting na wo ti fie.
Ni nyina ye hihye.
Na wa sa be ye burden ada wo parents so.
Ni nyina ye hihye.
Me hu Ghana ye ko.
Say ye ka say obi ani wo obe kan asem a obe kukurade no ma abesi wo. Or the mirror and a bear sardine.
Papa, I'm not going to that.
Son, a chance, and me ball collar, and I'm call class 1. That time, name more than me ball collar, and I'm call class 1. Name more than that time. It's your name, obviously, one more collar, obviously, shoe or school. That is a generation.
I'm not ready to almost say, and I about to. I'm Ghana, dear. Also, they are back to a normal. Dear, politicians, yeah. Also, who said, yeah, you can't be youth, no, the almost yeah, and also me who said, yeah. Me Obama, me Kroma Santa, me fra Santa Mampon, Obama Poma, Memento MP aba. Memento presidential, yeah, na me move na me call. We are me them into MP aba. Because we will be our MP. Found my woman, the other near Batu.
Hey, no, I move. My name is so. My home is 4 years, that's all before from.
I to a banana. I'm not minded.
Who can Sadia? What do you need for? Logic because in even a house where we live in Ukraine, there was a decision-making body in the house. It's about to it is a mind.
Okay.
And she said about to
convince me I'm to about the presidential, I'm to parliamentary, and then they are meant to.
As a concerned Ghanaian, it is very, very simple. We need to vote wisely. This time around, it's not about MPP, NDC, no. These two parties, I think they've disappointed Ghanaians. So we need to vote them out of power and also vote very wisely. Choose someone who can handle the nation, who can help the youth.
In Avenel, there's more of the voters expressing what will actually influence their decision to vote for any party come December.
Mekrano and Kamisimento by Bibinti Meto. Yeah. Said I pay my papa, Pini Papa, Baba, then Ababa, Ama, Niamaya, then Abba form, Naniama Boye, Nabi Biacoso, Yasramo, Yediko to Jogu for me, Yasramo Pa, Momoe, now you to ne city, Accra, baby Abekobia, Accra, the new one say you to ne
and I don't know, oh, on to me, Soriano Pa, and Kakuku, and on to me, Soriano Pen, Yisi Cambe Chamo Biao. Debbie, into Musum blame will be.
Your mama penna head a channel, or no, maybe be above form. 2012, 1-2, I roy and 1,002, Nana, they say Royal Kobusha Royal, a cover 10,000. So I say, what are you in Pocrano? I feel any marketing to be on, Nana, Esremo, MPP, Esremo, Abai, Esremo, Montetania Maso, near you to no sentiment Toby. It's a Mumbia Juma, my head, yes, Jumano Soa, Yacope landed, so I say, we say aban no wan nye bibia amfa wa bena yitu ne se wan to ye
anado waye bi pa waye bi o de yenhwe yentu ye nimfa nkohwe ba bi obi wo hono ma na wofo oni sika kra o de dey o de kotwa ne ba school fees free education aba ama nipa bebre etima dey ewie SHS because first na edin say SHS obekọ nti say nipa adwene pawo ni trim ana nipa odwene o man ho etimi ye saadi we e de manipa na say utimi se nipa no adwene pa ye de e woni trim sa enioma no so e na sesa mo hwe na mo de to abaye de e de ma no oda say sa enioma no so no e na sesa mo gina na mo de to abama no
emre bi atwa bu no na ese nka papa ba ko no ba na efere John Mama no na nka ese o ma no mu edin nti aka wenum ye agenkwa e de ma Ghana fo sa o mo kra de o mbebu yen asa bre sun kra se ka wonu tumo men kasa ye fi se o mu ye ayi o mu ye kronkron sa na o mo kra de o mu nya ba ko si if you say first no mitimi yi to ho asa na makọ adwuma and then me gba ko homa half maka kire me re me ma say me kwa me de balance no e be sende o ye mma ko homa sa be ma enhwe yire ne masa first no me yi to ho a na me kọ adwuma me tu moto a me ba adwuma mu ba ne se me gba ko homa 100 cedi a me ma no 40 50 me se na ka no eno kwaji se twe me saa ansa na balance na akọ
tumotwe mutan a oye o mampanyi no o aba ono so ne wo so enti wonto aba mana you don't need to insult him. Why insult him? Why you blame him? Like o kawa dwindi dinatem enti ehun sa ade bia ye bia so no ye bebu hu atan because wa ye nyoma bebre anye bia wo fase bi anya free SHS akọ unu bia anya free SHS akọ wadamfo bi onya free SHS akọ free SHS ade akọ obu okra mbo a me se first din so obekọ SS what does ye kwa SHS no ye twie sika ye papa no mu twie sika ma mu twie sika enso free SHS aba obi atimi ko free enyo bebre so ono ma ye dey aye enti no menuanom a mususu mu brem obi mususu mu kasantie ni pa bi
24 dey na aye dey adegon if you say youth no kra no omo hwe ya ware no omo hwe yen se na ne yen.
This is your election brief on Election Headquarters. It's on the Joy News channel. Election Headquarters is for an informed electorate. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.